this could be the next multi-billion-dollar project in crypto. In fact, over the past couple of weeks and months, this project has been quietly running up the ranks of DeFi. It already has a total market size of over $1 billion, and it's only sitting at 250 million market cap. I'm talking about Moonwell. This is day 3 of our altcoin spotlight, where I present you one microcap altcoin every single day. And if you've missed any of our previous videos, please make sure to check out this link over here to the playlist. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss out on any of our fabulous videos out there. In Germany, we say, wir sind ja nicht zum Spaß hier. We're not for fun here, right?
You're having too much fun and it's not supposed to be fun.
No, we're here to find amazing, fabulous projects that you can potentially invest into. So make sure to support us and hit that subscribe button down below. But now let's get started. I thought it's about time to present you maybe with something else after 2 AI projects. And I thought about, why not the good old DeFi narrative? That's always been good to us, right? And Moonwell has been on my radar for the past couple of weeks and months, and I haven't had really time to look into it. And now it's already sitting at 250 million, so it's not that small of a project, but it does have huge potential, as we're gonna find out today. What is Moonwell? The good thing is I don't have to explain too much. If we check out their website, it's already stated big: lending made simple. And we should be all familiar with other lending protocols like Aave, Compound, or Spark Finance. Literally every blockchain out there has their own lending protocol. And Moonwell is focused on Base, but it does also support Optimism and Moonbeam, whatever that is. I already talked about lending protocols in one of my past videos and said it's actually a good way to ride the wave of the bull run, because people tend to supply their assets during a bull run to these lending protocols like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or stable coins, because they don't want to sell their assets. Instead, they supply their assets and borrow themselves some stable coins to invest into other assets, so that they can then pay back later. As people supply more and more assets, the TVL, or total value locked, slowly goes up, and usually the price of the token follows. Okay, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. We're going to quickly run through the Moonwell project, and I'm going to talk about the things that I like, the things that I don't like, and I'm going to give you my conclusion in the end. So let's get started. First off, let's start with the website. This is moonwell.fi, and we can see here lending made simple. If we scroll down, we can see here also the total market size we talked about. Over 1 billion in total market size, 770 supplied, and 320 million borrowed. This is coin market cap. We can see here Moonwell with the current price tag of $0.083 and we can see here the recent price surge of the past couple of months. But I still think there's room for growth, given that the market cap is sitting at around 250 million. If we look at cryptorank.io, we can see here the market cap and the FTV. But one thing that I want to show you is this: 61% of the supply apparently is circulating already, which would be fantastic for a project that is only 2.5 years old. But take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not sure this is actually verified. Because if we look at the vesting tab, we can see here the allocation, of course, we can see here the vesting schedule, and according to this, the majority of unlocks have already happened and will only last until June of next year. But then on the other side, if you look closer, you can see here that nearly half of the supply is untracked. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. But again, if 61% are circulating, this would actually be pretty nice. We take a look at fundraising. Moonwell raised a total of 23 million at a valuation of 90 million. And one of the investors is pretty well known. It is Coinbase Ventures. And fun fact, Luke Youngblood, the co-founder of Moonwell, is actually a Coinbase alumni. He worked at Coinbase as a staff engineer before. So it is no surprise that Moonwell is focused on Base, and Base is a huge opportunity for Moonwell's growth as well. If we take a closer look, this is Token Terminal. We can see Base and its growth of 2024, and it has just been on the rise. We can see here the daily active users and transaction count just growing and growing, and Moonwell could ride this wave with Base. Here's another picture that showcases Base's growth. This is the net inflows of the past 30 days. Base is outperforming Solana and Sui. How crazy is that? So definitely an opportunity here. Then we can see here Base, the second most active blockchain currently. If we take a look at Moonwell on Token Terminal, we can see here the TVL just growing and growing. And if this chart does look familiar to you, well, you are right. This does look very similar to the price chart, doesn't it? Not only TVL, we also have revenues and fees. So the 30-day average revenue is around 251,000 currently, which adds up to an annual revenue of 3 million, which is pretty decent. Then annualized fees, nearly 19 million. Speaking of Luke Youngblood, you can't actually find that much about this guy. Yes, he has a website, which is pretty nice, and it states founder at Lunar Labs and formerly Coinbase and AWS. But if you know me, you know how I like to stalk the people on LinkedIn, and I can't actually find Luke Youngblood here. And I cannot also find much about Lunar Labs. Yes, there is a LinkedIn page, but there are 2 people associated to it, so I cannot really find much about the team. Luke is very active on X though, so you can find information about him there. And I mentioned he is a staff engineer and he's very active on GitHub. Over 1,500 contributions over the past year, which is a pretty good number. So you can be sure that development-wise, Moonwell is in good hands, especially if the project is being handled by a previous staff engineer at Coinbase or a principal engineer from AWS. Digging a bit deeper, I did find some information about the team on the contributors page of the documentation of Moonwell. So here we can see Lunar Labs, Luke Youngblood, former Coinbase senior staff engineer and AWS principal engineer. Then we have Eli, community and communications lead, and 2 engineers basically, then some advisors, some vague stuff. My assumption is now that this team is heads down, just building. Then Moonwell also has a foundation, and according to this, they should have around $10 million in their treasury right now. So they do have quite some runway. And just a couple of days back, Moonwell announced their first physical card, which could be a good thing. And I think that it could be something quite attractive for retail. Even AI XBT is bullish about Well, and you should know by now that I'm a little AI XBT fanboy. Let's talk about the things that I don't like so much. So let's talk about token utility. The Well token doesn't have much token utility. You basically have governance, so you can vote on Moonwell improvement proposals and have a say in the direction of Moonwell. And you can stake your tokens for around 9% APY, which is good, but also nothing too crazy. And that's about it. And again, you can't find much about the team. There's basically just a LinkedIn page. The website, if this is the website, is not accessible. You cannot find the people, so not really sure how big the team is and how many people are working on this. Then there's also quite some competition, right? So we have Aave, we have Compound, and they all also support Base. So how can Moonwell stand out? And maybe the physical card is a way to attract a different kind of user base. Then if we look at other mid-size lending protocols, you could technically assume that the gains are quite limited when it comes down to these protocols. Some don't see growth and are stagnating this year. Overall, I think the future of Moonwell does look bright. The release of their physical card looks like a step forward compared to their direct competition. They've already been getting some attention lately, and I think there is still quite some upside. I think during the bull run, we could see a similar run up to Compound, for example, in the last cycle. I'm not going to compare to Aave because that is a different beast, but Compound was fairly new in 2020, and they were sitting at around 700 million and ran all the way up over the next couple of months to over $4 billion. So that would be kind of like a 6x, but it could potentially run even higher given that there's a lot of attention on Base and there are a lot more users now in 2024. So without going too deep into the analysis here, I think a reasonable assumption could be a 5 to 10x from where it is now. But please go ahead and do your own research. You have enough information now. This was just an introduction and a preview of Moonwell and my first thoughts on this project. What do you think? Is Moonwell a project to look out for? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like this video if you've learned something new, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching.